Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Patrick Collins. I am the developer advocate for Chainlink Labs, and I work on the Chainlink project, helping bring external data to the blockchain and to smart contracts. So today I got a presentation for everybody. Really excited to go over connecting your smart contracts to off-chain data, off-chain APIs, and traditional payments as well, and really utilizing the power of Chainlink for building these smart contracts, and especially on the Avalanche platform. These are really, really important because Avalanche is this platform built for the Internet of Finance, and getting data into your financial contracts and your finance smart contracts is a quintessential piece for making them do really, really interesting stuff. And I'll get into that in just a minute. And let's do it. I'm going to share my screen here. So it looks like you guys can see that. Okay, great. So yeah, and just to touch on this a little bit more, at this exact point in time, we have this extraordinary opportunity in front of us. The world of smart contracts is really knocking at our doorstep, and Avalanche is this platform that allows us to do these even more powerful applications, and with this brand new chain that allows us to do these more interesting and regulated things in the world of finance. So history is really going to show us who's going to be the pioneers to push us into this fourth industrial revolution. So this is also, yes, I'm going to be going over some technical things here, but this is also an invitation to anybody who's in engineers, business, marketing, or really any walk of life to come and help push for this smart contract revolution and get into the space and get involved. And you'll see that it's not just the engineers who are important and who are needed here. So let's get right into it. So just a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Chainlink, the problem that it solves, how it solves it, where Chainlink is now, the untapped potential, and a little bit of the tools and resources. So I know Sergey gave a keynote speech a little earlier in Hack Money, which was fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, definitely take a second and go watch that. It was fantastic. This is going to be a little bit more technical, but the beginning is going to be a little bit more conceptual. So let's jump right in. So in order to really understand Chainlink, we first need to understand that smart contracts are actually not able to connect to external data or really any other off-chain resource on their own. And this is a huge limiting factor for smart contract adoption, because it means the only thing we can really do in a smart contract is token transfers, right? And token transfers are great, but if you have an options contract, right, a token transfer doesn't really help you there, because you're going to need to get the price of whatever your asset is, whatever your underlying asset is, to do this option. If you want to do a short sell or like a stop loss or really any of these interesting financial transactions, you need the data in here to do this. And smart contracts are limited in that regard. So for the technical people here, the question then becomes, okay, well, why can't the blockchain just make an API call, right? That's how the current web works. It just makes API calls, and it's not a big deal. And this is actually a really important question. And the simple answer is that a blockchain is actually deterministic. So we need to be able to validate all the blockchain nodes on the chain. If making an API call is part of this validation process, then the node would actually get wildly different results whenever a node calls this API. So node A calls an API, right? That API says, yeah, the price of Ava is $100, or Avalanche is $100. Node B then calls that API. That API has been updated. It says, hey, the price is actually 101. Now you just can't get consensus. It's not deterministic. The blockchain really needs to be this deterministic system where if you replayed every transaction from the genesis block at 0 to the end, you're going to end up in the exact same state. And if you add API calls to this process, then you lose that validation. So this is really important to understand, that blockchains themselves actually can't do this. And this is where oracles come in. So an oracle is any device that interacts with off-chain data to provide this data to smart contracts. So they report this data into a smart to a blockchain via an external transaction. And this allows the blockchains to stay deterministic. So this is what oracles are. And this is actually where Chainlink comes in. So Chainlink is known as an oracle. So there are thousands of APIs out there already providing data that people need for their applications. Chainlink makes it really easy to enable connectivity between those APIs and smart contracts, even if they require authentication. So now you can have your decentralized application powered by the same reliable APIs that the rest of the world and current web applications use today. And if you want centralized blockchains as well, Chainlink can help out there too. So Chainlink is an Oracle framework. So oftentimes you'll hear people saying Chainlink Oracle. It's synonymous with Chainlink Node. They mean the same thing. So in addition to this, a lot of users today still don't understand blockchain, and sending payments and cryptocurrencies isn't really universally accepted yet, right? So when a smart contract is executed, people need the ability to get paid in the currency that they want. Chainlink makes it easy for these off-chain payments to take place based off these on-chain interactions. Chainlink uses something called external adapters, and this is really the crux of the customizability. This external adapters allow Chainlink to do fundamentally anything that you want, because external adapters are written in any language. So you can build your own external adapter to do some interaction with off-chain data, including pay payments, do an update to Twitter, post to Reddit. You can really do whatever you want, because you don't even need to know anything about Solidity, about Avalanche, or really anything to build these. So Chainlink allows these inputs and outputs to happen easily because of how they're built. And in addition to this, so this is great, but this is where we get where we talk about it a little bit more, and this is where we get a little bit more interesting, right? So you can do all these inputs and outputs with a centralized node, right? You can have one node go out into the world, grab your data, post it on chain in an external transaction. However, this actually becomes an issue, right? If you have one node getting your data for a decentralized application, you now have a single point of failure. So let's think about that a little bit. You spend all this time building this really powerful decentralized application, but now it still relies on getting its data from a centralized source. You've essentially ruined the decentrality of your smart contract by getting all your data from one source, because now it relies entirely on the truthfulness of this one source, be it a centralized node or a centralized data source. So if you're getting your data through a single area, a single node, you've now ruined the decentrality of your contract. And this is really, really important, because saying, oh, my smart contract is using a Chainlink node, therefore it's decentralized, that's kind of like calling a single tree a forest, right? That doesn't make sense. One single entity doesn't make up the whole. To make the applications that are truly never need to rely on a single entity, you need actually a network of Chainlink nodes. And this is one of the reasons why Chainlink is so powerful, because it's a modular framework that allows you to build these networks of decentralized nodes so your smart contracts can stay reliable and create this definitive truth, because they're coming from many independent sources, right? And this is one of the fundamentals of blockchain in general. Blockchains are run decentrally, and in the same way, you should get your data decentrally as well, so you don't have to trust these entities. So this is a really, really important concept. And one of the other reasons that I'm stressing this point, other than decentrality in general, is that we've seen attacks, right? This isn't something that I'm kind of making up. Like, oh, you should be aware of this. We've seen attacks already where projects are relying on centralized data points. They're relying on single entities, and those entities get hacked. They get attacked, and the projects lose a ton of money. And in most cases, these entities weren't even malicious. These were entities that were really doing their best to provide reliable data, but because they're centralized entities, if somebody crashes them, if somebody hacks them, if somebody tweaks them or makes getting the data harder, it can ruin your entire project, because smart contracts are auto executing based off the data. So this is just one of the reasons why I'm really stressing this point. So Again, Chainlink is this modular framework, this modular infrastructure to build this decentralized Oracle network and connect your smart contracts to any API or any data source. And as I mentioned with the external adapters and external initiators, they're incredibly modular and they're incredibly customizable to really configure to any blockchain and any data source as well. So, and this is crucially important for the Avalanche network as well, for getting this data, like I said, into these financial smart contracts, right? If you want to build, your own bank, your own decentralized exchange or stock exchange or any type of financial instruments, you're going to need some type of data into your smart contracts, and Chainlink really is that empowering feature that's going to allow you to get this data. So both get the data in and also interact with the outside world as well. So as we see in here, we see some bank payments and retail payments as well. So Chainlink not only does the input, it can also do the output as well. So say you create your Avalanche smart contract to pay somebody out in a currency other than cryptocurrency, Chainlink can enable you to do that as well. So Chainlink is really this modular framework that allows you to interact with the world. So and to get you started in DeFi, the Chainlink actually has gone ahead, found many of the best blockchain node operators on the planet, and combined their prowess to build what's called price feeds. So these are decentralized on-chain reference points that could be considered a source of truth for various currency pairs, like, for example, the price of ETH in terms of USD. And right now, this is actually being done on the Ethereum chain. We can see here, this is a visualization of that process actually being done. So around that price in the middle, that 196.52, you can see all these different nodes that are returning data on the Ethereum chain. They're returning the price of ETH USD, and that's getting aggregated on chain to get this truly a decentralized price. So this way you can use these prices to build your decentralized applications. So all these nodes are using high quality APIs and reporting them on chain. And the best part is, if you don't want to use this, again, because Chainlink is so modular, you can build your own network. You can absolutely do that. However, I'll get into some of the projects that are using this. So we've seen a lot of right now. Actually, we've seen a lot of projects that are actually using this. A lot of really crucial pieces in DeFi world. If you head over to DeFi Pulse, you'll see most of these projects on there being in the top projects of DeFi and propelling DeFi into the future. And we've seen actually, so it looks like some of these numbers are actually outdated. I think it's 50 plus price feeds are now live and more than 14 users. And these are securing critical infrastructures through this price data. And here's kind of a quick snapshot. If you check out DeFi Pulse, we have Aave, Maker, Curve, Synthetics. These were the top 5 products at the time that I snapshotted this. I think Uniswap and Maker are on there, or Uniswap and one other protocol are on there now. But if we look at those 5 projects, Aave, Synthetics, and Finance are using these price feeds to secure, you can see it here, billions of dollars, right? So these price feeds are being used to secure a lot of money, and it's a testament to the robustness of these Chainlink price feeds and the decentrality of these their nature. And getting access to this truly decentralized, definitive truth for the Avalanche platform is going to be even more important, right? Because Avalanche is this platform that's built around the Internet of Finance. So getting this really robust financial data on Avalanche is really going to empower your smart contracts to make them do these really, really interesting things and not have to, build your own Oracle systems. So there's just another kind of quick snapshot of some of the projects using it. Synthetics, 900 million, Loopring, 20 million, Set Protocol, 20 million, Aave, over 1 billion. So these are products that are using this and really showing the robustness of these Chainlink price feeds. And this is really just one application of Chainlink is using these price feeds. You can get, as I said before, any data into your smart contracts to do anything that you want to do. So again, it's not only price feeds. You can get any type of data in your smart contracts, and there's a number of other really helpful utilities that Chainlink offers, like the Chainlink VRF. So until now, for most of you techies, getting random numbers on chain is kind of an issue, right? Since the current conventional way to get a random number, you have to rely a little bit on the ETH miners for a random hash, right? You're going to hash the block hash. You're going to say, okay, cool, that's going to be random enough for me, right? But if a miner is in a lottery, right, and they publish this block, they now can say, okay, well, if I publish this block, I'm going to lose the lottery, and they decide not to publish it, then you're kind of out of luck. In this case, it's I think miners is the wrong term. I believe it is the validators, but still, they can decide not to publish it, and now your application is no longer fair. By relying on the block hash, you're sucking out all the fairness. So you need a way to get truly decentralized, reliably, provably fair random numbers. Otherwise, your applications can get attacked, and actually we've seen that as well. So Chainlink VRF stands for Chainlink Verifiably Random Function, and it's a way to get a provably random number in your application. And we've seen more and more adoption with this, and we've seen more and more projects start to use this. So in addition to getting data, getting any data, and working with prices as well. So we're seeing more and more adoption here to help secure, same thing, these high assets under management applications like Ava, which is doing over $1 billion, securing over $1 billion here. So here is just a number of different ways you can use Chainlink to empower your smart contracts. If you haven't checked this blog out, definitely take a second and go check out this blog. It's 44 ways to enhance your smart contract. A new one is coming out pretty soon, and I believe it's going to be 77 ways. But these are just some of my favorite ideas to build some of these different smart contracts. So for those of you participating in the MoneyDance hackathon and you're kind of racking your brain for ideas, this is definitely a place you can go check out to learn a little bit more and use Chainlink to actually empower your smart contracts. So obviously DeFi, right? Avalanche is a platform made for DeFi. It's made for finance. So I won't even spend too much time on this because this is what Avalanche is made for, this internet of finance. So both DeFi and CeFi actually. But a couple other ones are fantasy sports or games, right? Fantasy sports players pay an average of $100 per league. You can cut this down by a fraction of a fraction, and you don't even have to trust that the odds makers are going to be unfair, right? You can build these games where you can prove that the odds are fair. You can prove that these are going to be played effectively. So Chainlink VRF is really pushing the gaming industry as well, because you now have these provably random ways that are also going to cut down the costs and the overhead of all these as well. So really excited about that. Tokenized assets are a piece that really gets me going. You can split up your car, plots of land, shares of stock, and make it really easy to keep track of who owns what. And since your data is coming from these decentralized oracles, no one can mess you up. You don't have to worry about this paperwork. It's all on chain. So really excited about this. And last year, insurance. If you haven't heard these use cases, to me, these are kind of some of the use cases that really show some of the power of smart contracts in general. And my favorite examples is actually with farmers' crop insurance. Let's say all your crops get messed up by the weather, and your insurance decides that they don't want to pay out because of some pre-existing condition, right? This is something that they can do, right? Because they currently control the agreements. In a smart contract, the agreements are decentralized. They're not controlled by anybody. So they don't have this way to say, we're not going to pay you, right? And so a lot of people say, oh, okay, cool. Well, I can just take them to court, whatever. That's great. And, have fun waiting 6 months to a year to actually get paid for your crops being ruined. So I don't know about you, but I'm not really trying to, forego my livelihood to wait for the process to finish. So smart contracts can really cut down on that and really improve this process by just giving back the trust of your agreements to the people. So because in these decentralized smart contracts, getting the data decentrally, like weather data, for example, you don't have to trust the insurance company is going to do the right thing, since the right thing is actually infrastructural with Chainlink and with smart contracts. So now I wanted to do a quick demo. So if you haven't checked it out yet, the Avalanche docs have this fantastic guide. For a lot of people who entered the DeFi and the smart contract space are pretty familiar with Ethereum and pretty familiar with Solidity. It's really easy to switch over to Avalanche as well, because you can do everything, from Remix using Truffle, but just using the Avalanche C chain as well. This is their contracts chain, which is fantastic for deploying smart contracts. So if you get a second, definitely check out this guide. And I'm just going to do a quick overview of it in Remix here. So it looks like you all can see this. If I hit MetaMask, can you guys see MetaMask? No, you guys can't see MetaMask. That's okay though. So I'm clicking MetaMask here, and it's popping down. And I have some. Can I share my Meta? No, I can't. Well, in any case, if you follow this guide here, you can actually add your Avalanche C chain using this RPC or URL and the chain ID here. And your Avalanche will look like this. Obviously, you might not have this much test C AVX, but you can get into your Avalanche account. And then that's all you have to do. So you're injecting your Avalanche chain into your Web3, into your Remix browser here, so you can actually deploy smart contracts easily on the Fuji test network. So I have a super simple demo here that I'm actually deploying on the Avalanche chain. Again, you can't see MetaMask, unfortunately, but it works the exact same way. And you'll understand why I'm showing you how to do this in just a minute. But yeah, let's just kind of quickly deploy. 470 is actually the hard-coded gas price. So make sure whenever you do a transaction on the C chain here, on the Fuji network, you use 470. So we're going to deploy, and it's done super quick. And so I just have, thank you. I just have a really simple contract here, just with one function that adds one to the number, right? So number right now is 0. We're going to add 1. Great, confirm. MetaMask pops up, I hit OK, and we added 1. So it's really easy to deploy smart contracts to the Fuji test network really easily. And we can even go check out the Explorer. The wrong hash. You can even check out the Explorer, and we see 45 seconds ago, we created this smart contract. So this is just like Etherscan, if you're familiar with that. We created our contract here, and it's even updating real time, which is really cool. And everything that you've come to know and love about Solidity and Ethereum, you can find here as well. I've deployed a number of ERC20s already, and right now I'm kind of I've noticed there's not a lot of activity on building some of these ERC20s, and which is really, really, really exciting opportunity that you can be one of the first ones to jump in and start deploying some of these tools on the C chain here. So the reason that I'm going into this right now is because, back to Chainlink, the way to get data through Chainlink on the Avalanche chain is going to be the exact same way you can do it in Solidity, right? So go to make a GET request. All the code here is going to be the exact same. Now, there's still a couple pieces being done for the integration, but if you're feeling really ambitious, actually all the code to run a Chainlink node and connect it to an Avalanche chain is out there. We're kind of working on the docs, updating the docs for the Avalanche Chainlink integration. But if you're ambitious, you can definitely set it up yourself right now, because the C chain is EVM compatible. Right, so all the logging, all the functionality is exactly the same as Ethereum, and you can just have the Chainlink node run and read from chain in the exact same way. So once we add a little bit more docs, add a blog, you can literally, deploy your Chainlink smart contracts the exact same way you can do it in a Remix, which is really, really exciting. So that's kind of the demo there. Yep, request and receive data. Oh, and so when you're building these smart contracts, when you're building these decentralized networks, you get to choose your node operator. You get to choose who you want to get the data from, and there's tons of data information out there on each oracle and what they're reporting. So when you choose your Chainlink network, you want to choose highly reputable oracles, and you can find out pretty much everything you need to know about the different Chainlink nodes using what's called node listing services. So this is one of the most popular. It's called market.link. You can kind of choose anything. So I'm on the Coven network right now, which is an Ethereum network, but you can look up, let's say I want to do like at UN 256. I can find oracles, Chainlink nodes that have jobs where I can get a UN 256 into my smart contract, and I can learn everything about them here. This is like the node details. I can see metrics for it. This is a test net, obviously, so there's not really great link rewards per day since it's a test net. But you can see everything you want here. Another really fantastic tool is reputation.link. And right now these are connected to Ethereum, but you can still, when you're building your Avalanche smart contracts, you can say, okay, cool. I see secure data links. I see profit. I see alpha chain. I see chain layer. These are the oracles that I want to use because I can see their reputation, right? You can see the total transactions that they have. And again, this is just for mainnet, I believe. Yeah, so once more nodes come into the Avalanche environment, which again, if you're wanting to do that, if you want to run Chainlink node in the Avalanche environment, definitely jump into the code. Again, we're going to be sending out a little bit more information on how to do that, but it's available right now, and you can be one of the first people to jump in and be running a Chainlink node and delivering data to the Avalanche environment. So these are some nodes, and you can get added to here too. And I wouldn't be surprised if they start adding the Avalanche functionality here as more oracles get added here. So there's a lot of cutting edge stuff going on, and we can all be the first ones to really step in the door. But yeah, you can see all the nodes, see their total transactions, the link earned, the response ratio, and this is going to be the analytics platforms that you need to build these decentralized infrastructures and power your smart contracts so that you can get this data truly decentrally. So I went over a lot here. I don't think that there is a chat platform, but yeah. So I went over a lot here. Well, excuse me. Went over a lot here. I know that there's a ton to go over, and there's a lot to learn about, building your smart contracts decentrally and getting this data into your smart contracts. The Chainlink community and the smart contract community in general is here to help you out. So Avalanche has a Discord for developers, for smart contract engineers, where you can jump in, you can start asking questions. Chainlink as well. The Chainlink Discord is incredibly active. So if you have questions about the nodes, definitely jump into the Discord, say hello. Stack Overflow and Stack Exchanges are great tools to ask questions and learn more. I know Chainlink is really active there with helping engineers get set up really quickly. And there's so much support for smart contract engineers out there. Definitely don't be afraid to jump in and start asking questions. And there's a ton of resources. And if you don't know where to go, you can always ping me, ping anybody kind of in the community, and they'll definitely point you in the right direction. So, and I have 1 minute left here. I just want to say again, we're really at this doorstep of really revolutionizing how a lot of things work. And Avalanche has built this fantastic platform for revolutionizing finance in general. And Avalanche plus Chainlink allows you to build these amazing, amazing features. So really excited to see everybody join the community. Really excited to jump in and start building some of these platforms. And again, if you have questions, you know where to find us. And I hope to see you all in the community. Thank you.